Are you ready to get the hydrofacial glow? Loved in 87 countries across the world. It's not a facial, it's a hydrofacial. Now available across the UK. Visit hydrofacial.co.uk to find your nearest location.
They're going now. Oh, I've got to come and I've got to try and murder you now, if you don't mind.
Hello.
Hey!
How is everybody? Welcome back, our co-host David O'Reilly.
Yes.
Well, I had so much fun on Tuesday. I thought, well, I need to get back in on the action and see what monstrosity Dee's going to wear on her head today.
And then she doesn't love it, darling.
I like today. It's very Saint-Tropez, very summer holiday.
Yes, on my way, darling. On my way. As soon as I can.
I wish.
So, darling, what news with everyone?
Well, I must tell you, I mean, it's quite scary, actually. I've just heard that there are 2 chihuahuas who are terrorising people in Corsham, in Wiltshire.
Really?
Yes, they've taken on a German Shepherd. This is absolutely true. They're called the hooligan chihuahuas, and they're terrorising everyone in the streets.
Dee, can I just say something? The only people we know with chihuahuas,
yes,
Debbie and Sherry. That's all I'm saying. Just letting that land.
And that makes 2 chihuahuas.
Thank you.
I can't get into thinking about Sherry and Debbie's growling chihuahuas. Honestly, I really can't.
It's been a long time, David.
Oh God, I
Much
know.
information, Sherry.
I know. We have spoken about them before, but you know.
Down the canal yesterday.
Sorry, David, that's not a euphemism. Sorry.
My
Sherry
granddaughter was walking Teddy, and I was watching her, and this great big cockapoo, massive cockapoo, came up to say hello to Teddy. And Teddy went for the cockapoo.
Really?
And I could see Molly jump back, and the cockapoo just looked there going, sorry, I'm 5 times bigger than you and you're having a go at me. And Teddy went for it again. And I don't know, I don't know what it is with chihuahuas. They think they're Rottweilers, you see.
They often say dogs are often like their owners, Sherry.
Well, yes. I mean,
Rottweiler.
there has been times.
It's that's why, because Harriet's dog licks his own bottom and runs around in circles all the time.
David, I'm never speaking to you again. I may be able. Listen, I may be able to do the splits, but the other thing I couldn't possibly do. I'm sorry.
But speaking of growling chihuahuas, has anyone started season 2 of Bridgeton?
Yes.
No,
Yes. I thoroughly recommend. Polly Walker, who plays Mrs. Featherington, Lady Featherington, is hilarious. So you must watch it. It's brilliant. I binge watched that, and I binge watched Afterlife with Ricky Gervais as well, which is it's so good.
Is it?
I think I'm on episode 5 of Bridgeton, and I was thinking, it's not going to be as good. It's so good, isn't it?
Oh, I can't wait. I loved it.
Oh, good. Now there's less how's your father in it this time.
Right.
But more anticipation.
Well, yes, let me say, I think the season will go out with a bang.
Well, I haven't watched anything lately at all. There's nothing that has...
Sherry, you would love Afterlife. It's very up your street.
I will watch that.
It's very pure humor and I think you'd really enjoy. It's just, because, you know what, people think because it's Ricky Gervais, it's just going to be, this, that. Wow, there's so much heart to it, and he's so brilliant in it.
Really?
I've seen the first series, but I haven't caught up yet. Sounds great.
I watched it with my mother. We binge watched all the series, and she absolutely fell in love with it.
Oh right, well I should watch it then, definitely, because I haven't been watching anything lately at all. Nothing, because the news has taken over my whole being and life and
that's why I started watching. I needed an escapism from
we all need something, don't we?
Because we've gone from the rolling COVID numbers for 2 years into rolling war. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be up to date with everything that's happening. But what I'm saying is it can really affect up here and here. So it's, taking yourself
certainly
away.
Has me. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know you know, even like we, you know, you're one of those people, Sherry. We'd walk by a homeless dog in Spain when we were filming, and your whole day would be spent worrying about why is no one looking after that dog? How can we get this dog help? So I you know, I understand. You know, it hits differently with you.
Yeah, I mean, it has hit me mentally really hard, and I'm sure everybody feels the same. So you're right. We need a bit of escapism.
Yeah,
we do.
We need something
sure.
to make us smile and have some hope and laugh a lot.
Well, that's why I was thinking that's why theatre, film, television is so important, and why it's not recognised, because that is our escapism, that is our freedom. And like you performing in Hollywood, was that amazing, David?
Oh, well, you all know, you've all been to LA. What a temptress she is. I mean, it's just,
She is.
you know, I lived like a Beverly Hills housewife for the 6 weeks that I was working there, you know, and my bank balance certainly shows that. But, you know, we just threw ourselves in. We were so lucky. They're quite a bit back with regards to COVID. So we went from one extreme in the UK where there wasn't really anything. We kind of got rid of everything, to LA where, you know, they were, you know, they'd only allow children in to watch if they'd been vaccinated.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was
Very
really strange
strict.
and very, very strict. But you know what? The biggest thing that I took away from, you know, LA was the profound effect the weather has on my head. Oh my God.
Yes, I agree
Waking
with
up
that.
to blue skies every morning. It makes you want to get up earlier, and you want to get out and you want to see the
And
day.
live,
And you know, just that glamour, you know, you go to Beverly Hills. But what I will say is, and that I found really upsetting about LA was the homelessness.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh my God. There's a documentary on Netflix that I watched the other day called Lead Me Home, and it's about the homeless crisis. It's actually a state emergency in LA, Los Angeles, San Francisco and Sacramento. I think they've declared emergencies because of the homeless crisis, and it only got worse over the COVID pandemic. But what is really interesting is that I think it was the mayor decided to give the homeless people tents. So you'll go down streets in downtown LA where we were staying, and there will be tents lining up, and then you look up and you see these multi-billion-pound bank skyscrapers, and on the floor of it is these people who are living in tents, and it's such a juxtaposition of worlds and such a kind of, you know, so weird.
So it's also in London and a lot of major cities here, and I think again,
Cardiff. I saw that in Cardiff. Yeah.
Did you really? Yeah.
It's just terrible.
Yeah. Do you think it's because people come to the big cities to think, you know, they're going to make it, and then they get disillusioned, and then you know what I mean?
There's certainly an element to that, but I definitely think there's you know, someone told me when I was out there that other states bus in homeless people to LA.
Oh really?
Yes, and also the opioid crisis as a massive problem that leads to the drug addiction. It leads. I mean, because you know,
I think it's not people trying to be actors trying to make it. I think people, it's addiction, whether it's drugs, drinks, whatever. It's often sort of mental illness where people used to be supported are just cast out on the streets now, and and a
lot of veterans, a lot of war veterans as well. You know,
they don't get the support. Exactly. They need more support.
But you know, I definitely, when I mentioned it to people over there, they seemed somewhat numb to it, because I suppose when you're living amongst you don't really realize. But it was extraordinary. You know, I remember when we went to Universal Studios. Oh, and just going down, we went down Wisteria Lane, which is Colonial Street, which is where Desperate Housewives was filmed. I cried because it's just, it's a different world, isn't it?
Completely.
Well, the only time I've ever been to LA is ITV about 3 years ago took me on a kind of Sherry Houston in LA, and it was all about plastic surgery. Because as you know, every corner shop is a plastic surgery place in LA. Yeah. And so it was all about that. We went for 7 days, and for 7 days, it rained every day.
When did you go? What time of year?
It was March.
Oh.
Every day it rained. And the day we got in the car to go to the airport, the sun came.
Of course.
And you know what's really funny is when it rains over there, they don't know. They're like, "Oh my God!"
It pours,
and it really rained. I mean, and it was cold. But there's that song, isn't there? Cold.
It never rains in Southern California. It pours.
Yes, no, and it's wet and it's damp.
Yeah,
that's the whole, you know, the Frank Sinatra song. It's wet and it's damp, and it really was, and it was so cold. I've got to go back.
You go to the Beverly Hills Hotel while you're there?
Yes.
Oh my God, I had breakfast there, and I'm not even.
Did you cry? Did you cry again, darling?
I did. Let me tell you, that's why it was certainly wet and damp where I was when I got that breakfast.
Did you cry into your waffles?
Oh my God, it was the best breakfast I've ever had in my life.
Well, I got into a lift there, and Will Smith got in, and I was absolutely gobsmacked, and just stared at him like some awful fan.
Well, that's probably good, as long as you didn't crack a joke.
I know.
Okay, we need to move on now. We're not going there. We're not going there.
Stared, and I thought, and under my breath, but it probably wasn't. I was going, "Oh my God, that's Will Smith," but it probably wasn't. I was probably saying it out loud because you could see the man pressing buttons,
trying to get out.
I think Chris Rock was saying the same with the Oscars on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh my God.
Sure was.
Anyway, swiftly moving on. Who have we got coming in today, please, girl?
Well, we've got one of my oldest friends, one of my best friends, and also one of the scariest men in the business. Because he's one of the biggest serial killers ever. And here he is, the great Brian Capron.
Yay! Oh! I don't know about
How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you.
Good. So tell us what you've been doing.
Well, I've just opened in the Wizard of Oz Panto version, which is an Easter Panto. It's more than just a Panto in my book. It's such a lovely thing to do, and such a wonderful thing to be part of. And of course,
can I just ask you? We haven't had an Easter Panto for years, so it's really something to celebrate the beginning and the dawning of this new Easter Panto age.
I totally agree with you. I did King Rat at Christmas at the Plaza in Stockport, and the reaction we got was just phenomenal. And the same thing with this. We've just opened. I've just done 3 shows, and the audience reaction has just absolutely knocked us all out. It's a lovely show, and to have such a lovely reaction all the way through. And it's a kind of show that is fabulous for little tiny kids can love it. And there's loads of stuff there for the adults as well.
Tell us more about the part you're playing, darling.
Well, obviously we've got all the great characters. We've got the great characters. We've got the Wicked Witch, which is played by, wait for it, Kerry Katona.
Wow! Amazing.
I mean, she's a. How can we describe Kerry in one word? A live wire, I think, with some.
Live wire.
But you know, we get on great. She's such a character, and we can talk about her later in a bit. And we've got obviously you know, the costumes in this are fabulous. So we've got the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow, and the Lion.
Who are you playing?
I'm playing the Wizard.
Of course.
Of course. But the lovely thing about it is that I kind of play myself as an actor. What on earth am I doing in this dreadful thing? You know, all that kind of thing.
Oh, brilliant.
It's been beautifully written, and I have such fun with it because I'm desperately trying to be a serious actor all the way through. You know? Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but also what I love about it is the music in this is just phenomenal. I mean, for instance, the 2 songs that come to mind, I actually sing the opening song from La La Land. And we have a song from The Great Showman at the end. And the lovely thing about this is there's lots of fun, loads of laugh, loads of business, but it's also got the pathos in it and the heart of the show, which just kind of surprised me in a way. So it's very moving at the end. And these iconic characters are played. They're such brilliant actors in it. We also got a lovely girl called Lauren Platt, who I wasn't aware of, but she was in the finalist. She was a finalist in the X Factor with Simon Cowell, and she's playing Dorothy. And she's got the most beautiful voice. Absolutely.
You're playing Dorothy, did you say?
Yes. I mean, I'm not a singer. I can put a song across just about, you know. But to hear a pure voice like that is fantastic. So the producer, bless him, Anton Benson, has put all these people together, and it's just a joy to do. So I wasn't sure, and you kind of think Easter Panto, blah blah blah, but it's just wonderful, and we're going all over the place, over the next sort of 4 or 5 weeks. It's a kind of Panto version, but it's got all the original stuff in it as well, and and we've got, I have to say, we've got the sweetest little dog playing Toto in it, and because he steals the blinking show every time he comes on.
Of course.
But
a real dog, real dog, yeah,
wow. Yeah. And he's just the gorgeous dog. I'm not a particular dog person, but he's won me over. He never puts a foot wrong, and he's just the sweetest dog, and amenable to everything,
How lovely. So where are you going, Brian?
Well, we're all over the place. I can't remember that, but yeah. If anybody wants to know what's it, yes, it's Easter Panto tour. If you just go on what we've got, Instagram and all things, Facebook.
We'll put it on ours.
Yeah, and Twitter. That is Easter Panto tour. You can find out, but it's this farther south it comes. It goes to Gravesend and Hayes. And Hayes is near Heathrow Airport, where I was brought up, so it's my old manor around there. That's where I got my accent from. And it goes, we're all over the place up north. We go to Rhyl, Wales, places like Doncaster, Burnley, Northampton. It's just literally about 4 or 5 weeks, and then I think we do 2 or 3 extra dates in May, and it's fitted in beautifully for me because I like to go to Hay Festival every year because I'm so literary. We've been going for 17 years, and I've got a motorhome. We go there, and I nearly got another job just before this that meant I couldn't have gone. And so I was so pleased when this came up because it just finishes just before, so I can go off. So my family are very happy because we're all going to that.
But could you take this to a Christmas pantomime?
This could be Christmas, yes. It's very funny because we do the 12 days of Christmas, but we call it 12 days of Panto, and of course, half the class keep getting it wrong, on the 11th day of Panto.
Brilliant. David, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, Brian, people know you, you're a household name, obviously, because of, partly hugely because of the part that you played in Coronation Street. And we're seeing a new era of soap opera now, EastEnders have just moved to their brand new set. Coronation Street are adding on to their new set that they moved into. They're now doing an hour every week. And, we're seeing a new era of soap opera. What do you think it is that, people are, that these shows have become a real staple in people's homes? What is it? And do you feel that when you're in a big soap opera like Coronation Street?
Well, of course, everything's changed because of, streaming, Netflix and all of those things and all those. So the soap has become more and more important for the main channels just to prop up the evening schedule. That's what it's driven by. It always has done that, and that's why they suddenly went to when I was doing Corrie, it suddenly went to 5 a week, and now there are 6 a week. And really, that's just a function of what they need, because they're desperately trying to hang on to viewing figures. And if you look at the viewing figures, the last big view, that's why people kind of remember my storyline, because then. It peaked at around about 19 or 20 million. Well, these days, if you're getting 7 or 8 million, that's brilliant. So I think it's just about competition, really. And I think, sadly, it's very difficult to keep up the quality. When you're doing two a week, as they used to be, you've got a lot of quality. You can keep the stories going. You can introduce lots of new stuff. Now you're rehashing lots of plots, old plots, loads and loads of characters. But it's still vitally important. And I think what people don't realize with all soaps, and I didn't really realize until I went into them, is that it's instant. There's hardly any rehearsal time. So the fact that you get any kind of quality is a miracle, really. And sometimes, every now and again, I always say with soaps, because the actors know their characters so well, and because the writers know them so well, every now and again you get something very special in a soap, simply because the familiarity gives a depth to the character and the scene sometimes that you probably can't find anywhere else.
It's true. And Brian, I was going to say to you that how did you, I know you're an amazing actor, you really are, But how did you go from being, you know, a social worker to a you know, the worst killer? Did you have to really dig deep to do that part?
Let's hope so.
No, he didn't. No, he knows how to be a killer, serial killer.
Well, funny enough, people normally compare me to, I was a nice teacher in Grange Hill. And that's the funny thing. My agent took me out of that show after 4 years in the 80s and said, you don't want to stay being a nice teacher forever. You'll get typecast. And then about 20 years down the line, I became this serial killer. And they go, oh my God, don't stay in that too long. You're going to be a serial killer forever. You're going to be typecast in that way, you know. And but in a way, it gave me a wonderful, you know, I think soaps are great for jobbing actors, you know, because a lot of all the creamy actors go round and round doing all the same stuff. And if you're a jobbing actor, which most of us are, it's very difficult to break through and get a lift up. And I think one thing that soap does for actors, it gives you a little bit of a chance to show yourself. And obviously you can't all be Suran Jones and Catherine Kelly, you know, and you need a good bit of luck for all that to happen for those two particular people, you know, who are both brilliant. But there are so many actors with just as much talent, but it can give you a lift up. And it gave me a lift up. I'm talking to you today because of Richard Hillman nearly 20 years ago. And so I feel so grateful to that part, you know. But as you said, that digging deep and all of that, really, it came from the writing. And what I tried to do with the character and make him different was, what was in my mind the whole time was trying to make him natural and real by, although he was a Panto kind of character, what was in my head was, when I hear people talking about people like him, I always had in my ear, do you know, he was such a nice guy, always said hello to you, always washed his car on a Sunday, you know, and loved his family. So that was it. What was in my head? In his head, he was trying to do this for his family. And sadly, when he, you know, the demise in the canal, ever since then, I've noticed how many men, you know, misogynistic type men, when the children are removed from them, they go mad and kill everybody. You know, it's a very serious problem. So in a sense, it was quite a serious thing. But what made what I loved about the character he was a kind of slight pantomime character. He was winking at the audience. You know, there was always this little bit of dark humor around. I loved. You know?
Did you have fun with some of them though? Because I mean, the killings were just wonderful.
well, Eileen Derbyshire. You know, we'd be chatting away.
I know.
She's the most unaffected actor. You know, lots of actors are terrible, aren't they? You know, oh, darling. You know, but,
darling, I don't know what you're talking about. How
Harriet.
But I'd be chatting away to say, yes, I know, I get that, you know, with my flowers in the autumn, you know. They're going now. Oh, I've got to come and I've got to try and murder you now, if you don't mind. She's sitting and I come and try and suffocate her with a pillow or something, you know. But what was lovely about my character is he worked his way around and met so many characters. Sometimes if you're in a soap, you're stuck in, you know, you don't really meet or work with the other characters. Of course, Norris was my favorite. Of course, you know, I had to threaten Norris, and of course, Malcolm is you know, his old school, you know, and I'm a bit old school, but we used to take the pee out of each other the whole time, sending each other. He's so dry, and he'd cut me dead. He said, "Just can't handle props, that Brian Capron. He's awful." You know.
And Brian, you know, of course you've got a long and lengthy career, you know, across many different mediums in the business. Is there one particular one out of film, TV, reality TV, theatre, radio? What is there one where you're drawn to more, where your heart is in it more?
Caravanning, I'd say. Caravanning.
Celebrity caravanning with Sherry Hughes.
Well, you certainly wouldn't forget it, that's for sure.
No murders there. That's what's extraordinary.
Surprising, yes.
I think Tony Blackman and I murdered a couple of songs. I can remember.
Yes, you did, and I got it on tape. I got it all on tape, so watch out.
Don't show that to anybody.
I think it was the YMCA that was the worst.
Yeah, that was great. But just seriously, going back to it, I think one of the disappointments in my career is that I do like serious theatre. You know, Ibsen, Chekhov, all of that stuff. I love it all. You know, I was at drama school. That's what I'd love to have done. But sadly, I've become a bit of a commercial actor. But I have been at the National Theatre, and I worked for Marion Elliott, and I worked opposite Leslie Sharp. And I would say that was just an absolute dream. And as regards kind of television, generally speaking, I actually did one Midsummer Murder with John Nettles, who I actually started out with in Rep. We lived together.
And it's been on
Nottingham.
It's been on twice in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Shot at Dawn. It's such a it was a fabulous part.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And,
Did you say you were at drama school together?
Pardon?
You were at drama school together?
Nottingham Playhouse?
No, with John Nettles. No, we're a year at the Northcote Theatre, my very first job with John, and he was a very slim, long blonde hair, and played a guitar and played Feste in Twelfth Night. And,
amazing.
Then I lived with him and his wife, Joyce Nettles, who was a famous casting director.
Yeah.
You know? It was a bit like living on the set of A Look Back in Anger. It was quite fun. But John is a fascinating guy, you know, and Midsummer Murders was such a joy when he was, because he made sure that everyone was treated the same, from the lowest person on there, you know, the lowest runner who just joined, to the top. There was a lovely atmosphere in that show, and that particular show had George Cole played my dad, and I worked with him on Minder all those years before, and that was his last performance, and he was so moving in it. It made me cry.
Yeah, made me cry.
He was wonderful, yeah. And Donald Sinden, Sir Donald Sinden. I used to watch him when I was at school. I was taken to see him in the Royal Shakespeare Company playing Lord Foppington, you know. So to work with those people were just and you know, Sherry, who was that? Who was playing my wife? You worked with
Gemma Craven.
Gemma Craven.
Yes.
She played a really blousy character.
She was
brilliant as my wife, and she was so funny. It was that was turned out to be quite a little highlight. I loved that Midsummer Murders. I did another one. They brought the character back, but that one was the one of my favourites.
It's been wonderful seeing you. Thank you so much, and we want to see more of you. Will you come back when Panto is finished?
Of course, I will.
Thank you.
When do you finish your Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, it goes right. It goes to the end of April, and then we're doing a few dates in May.
Okay.
And there it is.
Well, let's see.
Oh,
Thank
there
you.
it is.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and we'll see you very soon. So come back later when you've finished. We'll hear all about it.
Thanks so much. Lovely to talk to you.
Lovely
And
to
you,
talk to you.
Bye, Brian. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
And now we've got the threat of Easter chocolate. That's all I'm saying. Plus Easter Pantos.
We have.
Oh, he's a lovely man, isn't he?
He's lovely.
Wonderful. He's wonderful.
Didn't even know they ever did Easter pantomimes.
I was talking to the wonderful Michelle Detrice, who said she started Panto and she'd do it. Is it Les Dawson?
Yeah.
She'd start with him and they go all the way through to and after Easter from Christmas.
Yeah, that was back in the days.
The old days.
They run and run. And then you go into rep afterwards, wouldn't you? Straight into the rep. Straight to rep.
Or summer season, probably.
Summer season,
After Easter Panto, exactly. We should all bring the back, darlings. We can all do it. We can do an Easter Panto and then go into summer season.
Why not? Indeed.
Sherry's gone. That's what she's
doing. She heard
you
Easter
obviously
Panto.
didn't like that idea.
She's there. She's back.
She heard doing an Easter Panto to get them ready.
She went off. Gone. That is hysterical. Thank you, David. Thank you so much for being our co-host this week.
David,
absolutely
adorable.
Thanks,
so nice to see you, ladies.
Come
Thanks
back
for having
soon.
me.
And you.
Come again, and do it again.
Please.
Listen, if your nest can handle this weight, I'll be there. No worries,
darling. There's all three of us. We can trust.
Absolutely.
Depending on what Dee puts on her head.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything. She'll anything. A nest.
Love you, darling.
She
love you, darling.
Good head. Love you. Bye.
See you soon, David. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.